Hey guys, good morning. Um, I did not make a video before I racked out yesterday. I um, I ran till I ran out of hours, so much so that I pulled into a truck stop that I had found on Trucker's Path, and I'm like, oh, perfect! Look, I got 15 minutes left on my clock, and there's a truck stop 9 miles ahead. Perfect. Yeah, until I pulled up and realized they knocked down the old truck stop and it's under construction. And by the time I got here, I had 6 minutes left on the clock, couldn't really go anywhere. So I just parked in what was left of the dirt lot. There's like six other trucks here. I think they ran into the same problem. So no services, no amenities, nothing, just me and the coyotes out here. Anyways, I'm off the I-10 somewhere between San Antonio and El Paso, Texas. I got one last drop to do, then I'm going to drop the truck off at the shop. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm trying to get home for my daughter's birthday. And so I may not be posting a whole lot of videos for the whole next couple days. I simply got, you know, personal life to catch up with a little bit. But give me a few days, and once I'm settled in and spent a little time with the family, um, I posted a video on box trucks yesterday, and it got lots of views, thanks. But it also got lots of questions and a lot of requests for certain areas. In a lot of my previous videos, I cover a lot of the markets, if not all of them, most of them. There are very few areas that I haven't covered over the period of the last couple months. I encourage you to look at those, so you can know what the market was like then and what it's like now. So, a thing I do want to explain: if you're thinking I'm going to get into box trucks because, and I know I harped on it quite a bit, because I saw a video, someone else is doing box trucks. Understand what box trucks are used for first, okay? Box trucks are for markets where Amazon uses the U.S. Postal Service to make the final mile delivery. By that I mean the people that bring the package to your door. So wherever you live, I'm sure you're receiving Amazon packages, because let's face it, everybody does. And it's part of why Amazon is so alluring. I mean, when I jumped on board, I remember joking with my friends, hey man, make sure you renew your Prime, make sure you order from Amazon. I'd even go home and joke, like if there was a package sitting on the porch as I'm walking up, and there's a package sitting there from like Target or Walmart, I'd go inside and say, hey, these people aren't paying the rent. You guys need to make sure you order from Amazon. That's who Dad's truck gets loaded with. Anyway, so everyone receives packages from Amazon. Take a look at who is delivering your package, okay? If it's the U.S. Postal Service, then your local post office received a package from a 26-foot box truck. If it's UPS, no box truck in your area. If it's an individual in a personally owned vehicle, no box truck in your area. If it's an Amazon van with the Amazon logo on it, no box truck in your area. Okay? The way Amazon has set this up is the markets that they do not deliver themselves or aren't still using their old agreement with UPS. I don't know if they use UPS at all anymore. Someone said they cut ties completely, but I don't know if that's true, because right before the Christmas rush, we did a couple power only loads out of Dallas, and The power only load was to go to a UPS store and pick up empty UPS trailers and take them to an Amazon location in San Antonio. UPS apparently rented 250 trailers. I'm sorry, Amazon rented 250 trailers from UPS. So I think there's still a relationship there. I did another power only load right around the 4th of July of last year, and it was power only hauling UPS trailers, and it was from a UPS location in Dallas to a UPS location in LA, and it was contracted through Amazon. So they still have a relationship of some sort. Anyway, so the way this works, guys, in a market where in a market where Amazon is not delivering on their own, if they don't use their own means for the last mile, and they're not using UPS, when they deliver these packages to the postal service, that's where they use box truck, okay? Now, not every facility will order a box truck. A lot of facilities are structured differently based on what they want that facility to do. So when we switched from power only to providing our own trailer, we immediately noticed that some of the old locations we used to go to, we didn't go to anymore. And so when you provide your own trailer, I'm not trying to go on a tangent, I'm just trying to explain how their system works. When you provide your own trailer, what you're typically doing is you're picking up from a vendor and bringing it to Amazon, or what Amazon calls inbound freight. In other words, it's vendor supplied freight. And so within a given market, for example, let's say Dallas, within the Dallas market, there was only 3 locations that received inbound freight, but I know they have 9 facilities. And so what happens is the facilities that handle inbound freight have the ability to hand unload a trailer. Yeah, that's right. They hand unload them. They run a conveyor inside the trailer, and like 4 or 5 people go in there and hand load this conveyor, and they push it off that way. Now, why do they do it that way? Because every single package goes by a scanner, and that way their system can track this package has been received at this location. Then their system knows it's in stock. So then what happens is the other facilities surrounding that area, when they're low on stock of something, it goes from that facility that received the inbound freight to their others. That's where your power only guys stay busy, moving the freight from one to another. Now, the facilities that use, and I should say, each fulfillment center has a different amount of inventory that they keep. Not every fulfillment center has every single thing that gets ordered by Amazon. You know, that'd be pretty incredible, right? Because Amazon has a lot of different items. And so you may have a fulfillment center close to you, but they may not order any box trucks. And the reason being, their inventory may not be large enough to withstand losing that many packages. In other words, the facility may only be big enough to service its local market. And so only certain facilities receive box truck orders, primarily because they're large enough to fulfill a lot of orders. So just because there's an Amazon location within a mile or 10 miles of your facility or your home, that doesn't mean they use box trucks there. They may still be using, or they may have already started using their own delivery vans or independent contractors, or they may still be using UPS. Now, also keep in mind that if at your house you do receive your packages from the Postal Service, that probably means that it did not come from your local fulfillment center. It probably came via a box truck from 100 miles away. You're on the receiving end, in other words. And so I know you guys see these videos and, you know, people say, hey, yeah, box trucks live, this is great, blah, blah, blah. And then they might even in the video show there's 10 trucks in a line waiting to get loaded. Those 10 trucks are going in 10 different directions to cover markets that don't have these services locally. So not every market is going to use them. Just because you live in an area, you know, that has a big footprint, that doesn't mean they're going to need a lot of box trucks. What that means is Amazon, in its wisdom, will realize this is a busy hub. Let's set up independent contractors. Let's set up our own delivery vans. It's the outlying areas, the little rural communities out in the middle of nowhere, you know, they're typically the ones that are receiving box truck service to their postal office. A perfect example, by where I live, I remember seeing box trucks coming to Santa Barbara or Santa Maria. That's north of where I live, but those areas don't have an Amazon fulfillment center. They're receiving their stuff through the Postal Service. So, yes, in a bigger market, I know there's a lot of activity in Atlanta, but if you think about the Georgia area, there's a lot of smaller cities, you know, that are kind of out in the sticks, and they receive box truck service because there's no fulfillment center from Amazon within a short distance. So that market tends to be busier. Anyway, so I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but I'm trying to kind of lay out the understanding of what market uses box truck. Now, when you guys ask me to do markets and then you get surprised because there's nothing there, or you've driven by the facility and you see box trucks sitting there, understand that box trucks, just like your power only loads, a lot of them do go under contract. And these contracts are initiated when the local manager starts noticing issues. The local manager, believe it or not, does have quite a bit of, it's not that they have a lot of say-so, they make decisions that impact your local market. And so the way this thing works, when they start seeing disruptions in service, whether it's, you know, we ordered 27 power only loads to get moved today, and 7 of them didn't get done, and it created a delivery disruption. That's like their biggest no-no, or it's the biggest factor that impacts the decisions that Amazon makes. That's probably the best way I can word that. And so, disruption. When these people sit down and have a conversation, I have a friend that was once, it's not a friend, it's a friend of a friend kind of deal. It's an acquaintance through a friend of mine. And when I first started hauling Amazon, I got told, oh, this person used to manage one in Central California. And the next time I happened to run into him, I posed a couple questions and I got some interesting responses. But the key factor and the key thing that a manager needs to manage is that nasty word, disruption. So when you have a disruption of service or in deliveries, they're expected to come up with a remedy. And so if within a store or a distribution center, fulfillment center, whatever you want to call it, there's a specific thing that creates a disruption, they look for a solution. And typically the solution is, we have a company that runs whatever it is, 20 trucks with Amazon. And, they're domiciled within 20 miles of this facility that's having disruption issues. This is when they reach out and offer contracts. So companies that say, oh yeah, I don't work the spot market, I have a contract. Years ago, it was easier to get. If you had 3 or more trucks, you got onto Amazon, and there wasn't much of a thing. Relay didn't exist again. That's probably the better way to put it. Everyone was under contract. And so when you came in, you were told what your price was going to be per mile. It was better than it is now. It was better than what the average load on Relay is. And so you were asked for a commitment of X amount of trucks. You need to commit to us a minimum of 3 trucks. If you own 5, you're welcome to grab more loads with 5, but you need to commit to us 3. And the awesome thing about the contracts back then is if they didn't have work for you, they paid you for 3 trucks every day. So those are the old contracts. It's difficult to get. I ran 6 trucks with Amazon last year, and I emailed, I posed the question in those seminars that they do, I think, on Tuesdays. I tried every angle to find out if I could get a contract somewhere, but the area where my yard is did not have a fulfillment center close to it where they would consider my work worthwhile. No one said that to me, but ultimately no one ever contacted me to offer me a contract. So getting back to the issue or the conversation of, why some load boards look empty, if you're in a market where there's been disruption or there's a reason for a fulfillment center manager to want to create a contract and they create one, they typically go to the company that has the most trucks and they have the best score. So they reach out to this company and they offer them a contract. We're going to offer you a contract for 10 box trucks daily. Great. So now you've got guaranteed work, and typically what that means is either each specific route already has a predetermined price, or it's a predetermined per mile price. You get that contract, and then those loads never hit Relay again. So understand that you may see trucks running in a market, and I may say there's no loads there. And you're like, well, there are loads. People are running. Yes, there's people that have contracts. The other thing that happens is some people come into Relay, and they may book up everything they need for next week. And so if I look right now and it shows nothing for tomorrow, the loads for tomorrow may have been booked since last Friday. Some people work that way, and in part, it's why the rates stay so low. Amazon, again, needs to see that there's a problem. If all their loads weren't booked till the morning of, Amazon would not be comfortable with that, and they would change their structure to reflect a higher rate so we book them sooner. Anyway, let me kind of demonstrate a little of what I mean so you guys kind of better understand that there isn't this crazy abundance of work that justifies, I'm going to go out and spend whatever it costs to buy one of these trucks, 15 grand for a used one at Ritchie Brothers auction or whatever. So as we scroll down here, right now I have it set anywhere to anywhere, and I don't have any filter set. So system-wide, there's 3,257 loads available right now. That includes your power only. It includes, your trailer required, and it includes box truck loads. Okay, so remember that number, 3,257. Now we're going to go to equipment type and select box truck. So again, still anywhere to anywhere, which means anywhere in the country basically. There's 338. Okay, so in the magnitude of it, from 3,000 to 300. That's how few box truck loads there are. So if you guys are thinking, oh, my market's really busy, there's 15 Amazon facilities within 100 square miles, that doesn't mean you're going to have a good box truck market. Odds are with 15 fulfillment centers, they're going to have an established, I'll call it a courier route, but they're going to have an established facility or 2 or 3 that distribute via the Amazon van or the independent contractor that delivers in their own vehicle. I don't know if you guys are aware, but that's kind of another gig with Amazon. I think they pay like $20 an hour, but that includes your vehicle. You show up and they'll give you an area. I don't know how they separate it, if it's by zip code or if they have like, a block, neighborhood wise. And I've been to fulfillment centers where the time comes for these people to show up and it creates a disaster because the trucks can't get in and out. And like I say, I've been there, and it's an army of vehicles. It's like 100 vehicles that show up, and they typically have them lined up right outside the gate. And when the clock strikes whatever time it is, all these vehicles rush in, and the whole parking lot's full. You can't get a big truck in or out for about 2 hours. And I tell you because I've been delayed due to this. So Amazon has delivery mechanisms in a lot of markets. And so just a quick idea, if we sort this, and I know some of you guys are feeling like I should be showing you the power only or showing you the trailer required, but it's a topic that has fresh questions. I promise I'll jump back on some power only and other stuff here after I get home and settled in. Right now my focus is to get there, but my clock's got like another 20 minutes before it resets, and I've gotten together as I can, considering I'm at a truck stop with no shower or anything. So we're going to go payout highest, and so this is going to be a mixture of different areas, but as we scroll down it, you can kind of see your market. If it's there, then it may be viable. If it's not there, then maybe not. So okay, there's a Pennsylvania load. Obviously this is a long haul, and that's why the payout is so high, $3,600. Coming to Redlands. Now honestly, some people would argue that should be a load they put on semi trucks, but again, Amazon figured out box truck owners are willing to do things much cheaper. So instead of them having to provide a trailer and paying a power only guy $1.50 a mile, now they don't provide a trailer and they're paying some poor box truck guy $1.35 a mile. That's incredibly cheap. But again, Amazon's out for Amazon. They're not trying to make us rich. That's not their goal in life. It's just like when employees think companies should do more for the employees. Companies aren't open to give employees careers. Companies are open to make profit. Same thing with Amazon. That's a load that, in my opinion, you very easily could put in a box truck. I'm sorry, in a 53 footer. And I tell you this because I've moved 53 foot dry van loads, and there's literally 20 totes. I'm moving totes from one facility to another, and it's 20 of them. I've put loads in the back of my truck that literally you could put in a pickup truck. Well, Amazon's figuring out, hey, we can put these in a box truck and do them cheaper. So anyways, let me move on. So there's a load from Ohio to Ohio. There's Pittsburgh. I'm just going to say their city of origin so you guys can kind of see which markets have loads. And if you don't hear your market, it means your market's probably really dry. So there's another Pittsburgh. There's Whitestown, Indiana. Kenosha, Wisconsin. Randall, Ohio. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Maple Grove, I want to say that's Minnesota. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Akron, Ohio. Pittsburgh. Hebron, Kentucky. I might have mispronounced that. Fresno, California. Whitestown, Reno. Hebron, Kentucky. Pittsburgh. There's Hebron, Kentucky again. Brownstown, Indianapolis. Fresno. Maple Grove. Pittsburgh. Indianapolis. Pittsburgh. Hebron. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Pittsburgh. Hebron. Caledonia. Randall. Oh, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Sorry, guys. There's another Hebron. Whitestown. Fresno. Pittsburgh. Whitestown. Brownstown. Yeah, I'm not even going to try that one. Shanahan. There's another one. And of course, the ones I can't pronounce going to repeat a lot. There's another Hebron. Indianapolis. Twinsburg, Ohio. Maple Grove. Reno. Fresno. Hebron. Romoville. Pittsburgh. Twinsburg. Hebron. Twinsburg. Hebron. Pittsburgh. Twinsburg. Hebron. Twinsburg. Pittsburgh. Twinsburg. Hebron. Bakersfield. Pittsburgh. Romulus. Okay. Bondurant. Stockton. Hebron. Twinsburg. Hebron. Pittsburgh. I'm going to say it's Romulus. And that's the end of the first page. Aurora, Illinois. Hebron, Joliet, Illinois. Hebron, Pittsburgh. Seems like Pittsburgh might be a market if you guys are interested in the Pennsylvania area. Hebron, Bondurant, Pittsburgh. Moni, Illinois. Bondurant, Hebron, Pittsburgh. Hebron, Nashville. Hebron. Edgerton, Kansas. There's another Edgerton. Hebron, Randall, Ohio. Yeah. Shkopi? Who knows, man? Holy cow. It's a shame I don't know a lot of these cities. Whitestown, there's another one of those that I couldn't pronounce. Pittsburgh, Fresno, Herborn, Twinsburg, Brownstown, Twinsburg, Herborn. Yeah, there's another one. Sorry, guys. If that's in your area, I apologize. Twinsburg, Maple Grove, Indianapolis, 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 Indianapolis. So obviously Indianapolis does have a market. Herborn, Twinsburg, Randall, Twinsburg, Herborn, Indianapolis, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Herborn, Twinsburg, Brownstown, Herborn, Oklahoma City, Lancaster, Jacksonville. That's Jacksonville, Indiana, not Florida, by the way. Jacksonville, Herborn, Twinsburg, Maple Grove, Hebron. I think I'm mispronouncing that. Euclid, that's Euclid, Ohio, by the way, not Euclid, California. Pittsburgh, Kenosha, Twinsburg, Lockport, Twinsburg, Hebron, Romulus, LaVerge, Tennessee, Hebron, Lockport, Hebron, Romulus, Hebron, Cale, Texas, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Whitestown, Lancaster, and that's Lancaster, New York, because I think there's like 4 or 5 Lancasters across the country. Hebron, Hillsboro, Oregon. I think someone did ask about the Oregon or the North. I'm sorry, the Northwest. There's Whitestown, Lancaster, Hebron, Hillsboro, Oregon, Hebron. Yeah, I can't pronounce that one. Lancaster, Brownstown, Whitestown, Hebron, Whitestown, Hillsboro, Hebron, Twinsburg, Hillsboro, Twinsburg, Hebron, Twinsburg, Hebron. There's a San Antonio, hadn't seen any of them. There's another San Antonio. Man, I can't even begin to think of how to pronounce that. Hebron. There's another one. Whatever these are, since I can't pronounce it, let me just open it up and I'll show you guys where it is. I guess at least. So it's by Minneapolis. I think someone asked me about the Minneapolis area not too long ago. So that's probably going to be the closest facility to you that's doing box truck. Again, every market isn't going to have it, and when they do have it within your market, doesn't mean it's going to be close and convenient to you. It's going to be what is logistically most feasible for Amazon. There's Lancaster, Hebron, Hebron, Hebron. There's another one of those that I couldn't pronounce, but it does seem to have quite a few loads there. So if you're in that market and it's close enough to you and it's feasible, have at it. Maple Grove, Hebron. That Hebron seems to be pretty active. So if you're in that Kentucky area, that may be a market for you. Brownstown, Hebron, Whitestown, Twinsburg, Shanahan, Pittsburgh, Twinsburg. So if you're in Ohio, there's quite a few of those there. Hebron, Twinsburg, Hebron, Lancaster, Twinsburg, Lancaster, Hebron. That Kentucky area seems to be pretty good. Nashville, Twinsburg, Lancaster, Brownstown, Lancaster, Brooklyn, Maple Heights. Let me open that up because we can't see the city. That's Maple Heights, Ohio. There's Bakersfield. There's Hebron, Salt Lake, Twinsburg, Brownstown, Lancaster, Twinsburg. And this is the last page of it. Lancaster, Hebron, Whitestown, Pittsburgh, Brownstown, Hebron, Whitestown, Pittsburgh, and there's that one I can't pronounce. They do have quite a few loads there, so if you're in that market, you know, that may be something that's worth it for you. Brooklyn Park, Twinsburg, Hebron, Pittsburgh, Twinsburg, Hebron, another Hebron, Maple Grove, Pittsburgh, Lancaster, Hebron, there's another Hebron, Lancaster, Twinsburg, Lancaster, Pittsburgh, Twinsburg, and that's the end of it, guys. So that's what's available right now. Now, if you go to someone else's channel and they're showing you a market that doesn't come up here and they're showing you several loads, so there's a couple reasons for that. These people may know when the loads get released, and Amazon does do this, and I don't know if they do it on purpose. I think they might, or we're just victims of our own competition, if you will. I know when they were offering the short-term contracts, they would issue those, I believe, on Tuesday, and the markets that were real hot, those guys would sit there waiting for those contracts to open. They would even have multiple people log in, and they would just sit there and book. And literally within like 5 hours, 500 contracts in Florida would just disappear. And so then the load board for contracts for Florida looked like they didn't have any. And it's not that they didn't have any, it's they would book them before these things even sat there for a couple hours. And so there's a couple reasons why your market may not show anything, even though you're confident they exist. One of them is they are released at a certain time, and the people that do this regularly know when that is, and they've already booked their work. And so be aware. If that's what's happening in your market, don't expect the rates to go up, because Amazon knows we sell out immediately. There's no reason to raise the price. If anything, they may lower the price. Be aware. The other reason that you may not be seeing them is they may have been set aside to people that have contracts. In other words, what I explained in the beginning, where they tell you this is what the route's going to pay, or you have a predetermined per mile rate. Those people will have access to a separate load board, not considered spot market. And to get to that point, Amazon needs to invite you. You need to come in and show them your oats, have good performance numbers. And like I say, I did 6 trucks for about 5 months and had a 95 plus score, never got offered anything. But it could be my market wasn't good enough, could be because I started taking long haul stuff. None of my work was saturated in one area where I made an impact. In other words, because I had trucks spread out so far with them, 6 trucks doesn't really stand out. If you had 6 trucks pulling from the same facility every single day, I would stand out. But I didn't have a facility close enough to home. You know, you could say for us, home is like West Texas. In fact, they're just now building a facility in El Paso. And honestly, my hope was to get what they call tendered work. In other words, work that we're going to get every day. My hope was to get like a dedicated route out of El Paso, because that's where most of my drivers live. And if I could have gotten them regular loads going, let's say, to Phoenix and back, or to Dallas and back, or to San Antonio and back, and my guys could be home every other night, that would have been a thing of beauty for me. It just didn't work out. Anyway, so I know the Atlanta market has quite a bit of box truck activity, and it didn't come up on this report. It could be because they've gone to a tendered account. It could be because the Atlanta boys already booked them, but that should kind of also somewhat give you the indication your competition's going to be fierce, or your market may be very hit and miss. I do know that some loads at some facilities for the Postal Service do get done by a 53 footer. And the reason I say this is I once took a load from Buena Park to Santa Maria, and that particular load was in a 53 footer, and when I showed up, everyone was scratching their head. They're like, "You're not in a box truck." And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Okay, well, back up to this dock." And then they kind of scratched their head some more, and they're like, "You don't have a pallet jack?" And I'm like, "No." And they all scratched their head because, you know, it wasn't typical. But then when we opened up the doors, they're like, "Oh yeah, it would have taken 3 box trucks to make this load." You know, I don't think they like the fact that they ended up unloading the trailer. But, you know, some of your box truck loads do get moved into the big truck when they think the truck can fit at both ends, and it's cheaper to pay someone like me $250 a mile than to pay for 3 box trucks, you know, whatever, $160 a mile. And so a route isn't always a guaranteed thing within the Amazon infrastructure. Anyway, I wanted to kind of show that based on some of the comments that I got on the last video. I do appreciate all the views. That video got obviously a ton of them. I'm going to take a short hiatus over the next couple days. Basically, by the end of tonight, I hope to have my truck dropped off at the shop, and I'm going to be in a pickup truck loaded up with all the crap that I have in my sleeper, and I'm going to be driving 1,000 miles home to Southern California. My daughter's birthday is this weekend, so I need a little family time. I may in between that still pop in and do a video or two, but just keep in mind, the focus is going to be to get a little family time in, guys. I do appreciate all the love and the support and the new subscribers. The the channel's definitely growing more than I was expecting. I kind of thought, hey, if I got 100 viewers and I put up these videos once in a while, that'd be cool. At this rate, I think by the end of the month I may have over 1,000. I was talking to my daughter last night. She's 16, and you know, she was like, "Dad, what happened? All of a sudden your channel's popular." And I'm like, "It's just the funky YouTube algorithm." And I told her, I'm like, I'm struggling to keep up with the comments. I'm struggling to still put the videos out, keep up with the comments, and work. And so she's like, you know, if you email me the video clips, I can edit them together for you and upload them, and you can focus on making the clips and replying to the comments so that, you know, she says, if you get subscribers, that's great, Dad, but if you're not being interactive with them and responding to them, you know, even if they don't unsubscribe, they'll stop watching because they don't feel like you're giving them attention. She goes, some of the YouTubers I follow, the coolest thing about them is, you know, if you put a comment, even if all they do is come by and heart your comment, you know, you at least feel like they're responsive to you. And if your viewers start feeling like you're not paying attention, you're going to start losing them. And so I may enlist her assistance. She's got some really good editing software, and then maybe the quality of my videos will go up a little bit. Not that, you know, there won't be a big noticeable difference on the simple load board stuff because, you know, let's face it, it's just a screen recording. But as I try to edit, you know, back and forth, or maybe it's a video of my ugly mug giving commentary, you know, the transitions between the videos will be cleaner. I don't have the means to put a thumbprint at the beginning of the video, at least not with the software on my phone. If nothing else, maybe I'll get some coaching from her while I'm there, and you know, the channel will improve, and the quality of the videos hopefully will get better. And if she does help me a little bit with the editing, I'll have more time to cover more of the topics that you guys are asking for. Unfortunately, even like last night when I got in here, I was kind of beat. It was a long day, and I just woke up a little bit ahead of my clock, and I need to hit the road again. Obviously, I got to focus on making my delivery and getting up to the yard so I can jump in the pickup truck and start heading for home. But anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope this kind of helps to clarify and better explain what the box truck market is truly like. I know some of you guys are thinking, you know, I got 5 Amazon locations here, I'll get a box truck and, you know, that'll be the beginning of my business. Your market may not be good. I know someone asked about Phoenix, and I just covered Phoenix like a couple days before, and there was, I think, a box truck load, but it wasn't even directly in Phoenix, if I remember correctly. Some markets just don't use a lot of it, or when they do, it's sporadic. In other words, there may not be box truck loads every single day. You know, Amazon's resourceful, and they're going to do things the way that it's cheapest, and sometimes it may be cheaper just to send things via UPS. Anyway, enough about that. As always, thanks for watching, guys.